Well, the first trial might be over, but the fallout continues after a mistrial was declared in the Karen Reed murder case. As we await details of a new trial, there are developments involving what charges Reed might face going forward and the status of the lead investigator in the case. Boston defense attorney and legal analyst Peter Elikann joins us now to talk about the latest. As always, good morning to you, Peter. Karen Reed's defense team filed a motion to have 2 of the 3 charges against her dismissed. They say jurors in the case indicated to them that they were going to acquit Reed on second-degree murder and leaving the scene of a fatal crash charges. How likely is the judge to grant this motion?
Well, I think that it has to be looked into at the very least. The judge is going to have to determine whether that's true or not. I mean, right now the motion was filed without an affidavit. We haven't actually had the judge or anybody really talk and approach each and every juror. If they did establish that absolutely the jury was, all voted that she was not guilty on 2 of those charges, particularly the second-degree murder, then I think that there would be a strong argument that those charges would have to be dismissed. Otherwise, it's double jeopardy. You know, she's already been found not guilty, and to try her over again would violate the double jeopardy clause of the Constitution.
Now, according to the filing, the jury wound up reaching 8 yes and 4 no on the manslaughter charge. So based on all this information, could the prosecution regroup and just focus on that charge in the retrial?
Oh, absolutely. And perhaps it would even be strengthened, the prosecution's case. For example, it was kind of a common consensus, at least among the legal community, that they never even established that second-degree murder. They never really proved it, that it really brought up any evidence that she had intent to kill him. At best, it was that she could have hit him and maybe not even known about it, but they never really proved that. So that was kind of the weakest of all charges. So I wouldn't be surprised if the jury really did not find him guilty, did not find her guilty
Right.
on the murder charge.
So in your experience, how unusual is it for the jury to reach out to the attorneys in the case and say, hey, by the way, here's how things played out?
Jurors often do reach out to an attorney, or they go to the media and they'll talk about the case afterwards. That part's not unusual, but this part is really one for the books, that they absolutely, that they found, her not, if it's true that they found her not guilty on 2 of the counts, and it wasn't mentioned to the judge. That is really very unusual. And one theory, and again, we're only speculating here, is that perhaps they thought it was an all or nothing situation. Like, gee, we either find her not guilty on everything or guilty on everything. Right. Otherwise, it's a mistrial. But you can really find, under the law, you can find the defendant guilty of or not guilty of certain counts. You can come to a verdict and then be deadlocked and hung on on another count. It's not an all or nothing thing. Right.
And again, the jury, according to the defense, found some of that confusing in terms of what they're supposed to do in the jury form on that. Also, Peter, the lead investigator in the case, Michael Proctor, we've talked a lot about him. He has now been suspended without pay by the state police for his actions related to this case, and we're all familiar with the text messages he sent by now. What impact is that going to have, and is there any chance he takes a stand in the retrial?
That's another black mark against him, I guess. They could have taken a bunch of other actions against him while they're conducting this internal affairs investigation. This was the harshest they could do, suspension without pay. Yes, he most certainly, and I suspect in one way or another he will be testifying at the next trial, because if the prosecution doesn't call him, the defense certainly can and would want to. I don't know how much worse it's going to get, because certainly by all accounts, he really was kind of dragged through the mud here and kind of vilified, and there wasn't a great deal of sympathy for him during this further trial. I don't know how much worse it can get, but certainly this is another mark against him. But I can see him, if the prosecution doesn't call him, and it's always unusual if the prosecution doesn't call the lead investigator of a case, but certainly it comes with so much baggage here. But I would see the defense wanting to definitely call him, and there's nothing that could be done about that to stop the defense from doing so.
All right, we should learn about a date for the retrial when both sides return to court coming up on July 22nd. Peter Elikann, always a pleasure, sir. Thanks so much.
Thank you.